In our previous class, we have discussed about compensation. First, we will recall the term what is compensation. Compensation means the all benefits, it's financial and non-financial both kind of benefits that an employee get in return of his services. When an employee join an organization, he provide his services to the organization, and in return of his services he get various kind of rewards, various kinds of monetary and non-monetary benefits. These are all termed as compensation. When we talk about the structure of compensation, we include four things in compensation. First, basic compensation. Second, incentive compensation. Third, fringe benefit. And fourth is non-monetary compensation. First is basic compensation. When we talk about the basic compensation, in basic compensation we include basic wage and salary. Basic wage means when an employee get work on the basis of hours, he spends some time on the basis of units produced, and he gets payment in the form of wages. And salary, when he spend times on the job and he gets his return monthly basis, then it is termed as the salary. Basically, wages are given on the basis of time spent on hourly basis, and the units produced, and salary is given in the form of duration spent on monthly basis. Next come the fringe benefit. Fringe benefits include the benefits that are not linked to the performance, rather they are provided over the basic wage and salary. It means they are additional and supplementary benefits that are given to an employees over and above their basic wage and salary. After that come incentive compensation. Incentive compensation include the compensation that is given to the employee for their performance. If they done the performance as or above the criteria, for that purpose they are given extra payment or other monetary benefits that include in the incentive compensation. Next, non-financial compensation. Non-financial compensation means when they are made payment not in the form of money rather than other benefits, such as if they are given more challenging jobs, they are offered relaxation in working hours, they are given recognition and different titles. All these come in non-financial compensations. So fringe benefits are a basic component and part of the structure of compensation that an employee gets in from an organization. Basically, fringe benefits are the cluster of benefits. It include the services that are given to an employee by the employers for their good work, for their being as a member of the organization. They can be defined as the benefit and services that are given to the employer by the employees over and above their basic wage and salary. These benefits include housing, transportation, medical and holidays facilities. As these are provided over and above the regular wages, so these are also called as the supplementary compensation. An employee that is part of an organization and he give his services to that organization, in return he get basic compensation. But beside this basic compensation, because he is part of that organization, he gets some additional benefit. All these benefits are termed as the fringe benefit, such as if he is given transportation facilities from the organization, he is given medical facilities from the organization, he has given other holidays facilities from the organization. All this comes under the fringe benefits. Next come the feature of fringe benefits. What are the basic or main characteristics of fringe benefits? Very first characteristics is fringe benefits are always termed as the supplementary benefits, as they are additional benefits that are given to the employees, they are given over and above the basic wage and salary. Next come fringe benefits are paid not on the basis of their performance, rather they are paid to the employees because they are member of that organization. They are paid due to the organizational membership, not for their performance. Next come fringe benefit. Sometimes they are mandatory by the law and most of the times they are voluntary in nature. It means it depends on the organization, it depends on their policy, their history, their profitability, how much they have to given these type of benefits to their organization, and sometimes it is mandatory by the law, such as Workmen Compensation Act 1923 state that if an employee get disabled and if he has any injury during the working hours, so he may be get some additional benefit to compensate that injury. So these benefits may be mandatory by the law or these may be voluntary by the organization. It's depend on the nature of the work. Next come objective of the fringe benefits. As we know that an employee get compensation in return of his services. When he give his services to the organization, he get monetary benefit in the form of wage and salary, but these are the supplementary benefit that are paid to the employees. Now what are the main objective of these benefits are? First, attract the talent. We have to attract the best talent in the organization. When we run an organization, we have to hire the best employees that have particular knowledge, skills and abilities, and that can help us to attain the objective of the organization. So to attract these kind of employees, to attract the best talent from the industry, we have to make a sound compensation structure along with these benefits. These benefits attracts the employee towards the organization. Next come retaining the talent. Once we hire the employee, the next phase comes, we have to retain that employee within the organization. As far as the employee is new and he gets old, he become very familiar to the work and structure of the organization. From time to time we spend money to develop him, so that it's our prime responsibility that we have to attain that employee for a long term for the attainment of the organization goal. So for retaining him long term in the organization, we have to give him basic benefits plus other benefits so that he can feel comfort and he can feel motivated in the organization. Next come motivating the employees. Compensation and the other benefits that are including the fringe benefits, the additional services that he gets in the form of various facilities, medical facilities, health facilities, insurance facilities, club membership facilities. So all these are the factors that motivate employees. They feel motivated that organization is spending some money on their welfare, on the welfare of their family, on their recreation and other activities. Next come quality of work. The objective of these benefits is to improve the quality of work so that employee can improve their work quality as well as their personal livings. Next come goodwill creation. When an organization provide these benefits, it create a good image among the society and it is helpful to make a positive corporate image among the society of that organization who is providing various benefits to its employee. So all these are the basic objective of the fringe benefits. Next come, what is the basic difference between the base compensation and fringe benefits? When we talk about the base compensation, we include basic wage and salary that an employee get in return of his services to the organization. But when we talk about the fringe benefit, it means these are paid over and above the basic wage and salary. Next come, basic compensation is always paid in cash. An employee gets wage and salary in the form of money. But when we talk about the fringe benefit, these are always paid in kind, not in money. These are paid in the form of additional services and benefits. Next come, these benefits are paid to an employee because of his performance and his services given to the organization. When an employee is part of an organization, he performs certain work for the welfare of the organization. In return of these work, he get compensation. And when we talk about the fringe benefits, these are additional and supplementary benefits that are given to the employee because he is a member of that organization. When he leaves that organization, all these benefits get automatically back to the employees. So these are for the membership of the organization, not for their performance. Next come compensation is always determined by the job evaluation. We have to evaluate the nature of the job. We have to see the demand and supply of the workforce. We have to see the bargaining power of the labor unions and trade unions, and we have to check the government rules and regulation. Compensation structure is always affected by these factors. But while we talk about the fringe benefit, these benefits are determined by the history of the organization, whether they are earning more profits or less profit, their ability to pay, and their industrial patterns, different patterns, what are going on in the industry, what the other competitors is following. These benefits are always based on these factors. So this is the basic difference between the two. Next come the types of compensation and fringe benefits. Fringe benefit is a part of compensation, as we have already talked about it. Next come the types of fringe benefits. In fringe benefits we include various kind of benefits. These can be insurance benefits, retirement benefits, injury benefit, and pay for the time not work. We will understand these terms one by one. First is insurance benefits. Most of the time when an employee is a part of an organization, on the behalf of organization, he gets an insurance plan, he gets health insurance plan, life insurance plan. All this comes under the fringe benefits. The premium is paid by the organization itself, and employees and his family gets benefits from this kind of insurance. Next come retirement benefits. When an employee gets retired, he gets pension in the form of fringe benefit. He gets gratuity, the time spent for the organization well-beingness, and the duration for his long services to the organization. All of these benefits comes under the fringe benefits. Next come injury benefit or disability benefit. When an employee is doing certain work that he get injured, or there is a permanent or temporary disability in any part of his body, then he is compensated and he gets some additional fringe benefits on behalf of it. Such kind of benefits may be their free medical services, their payment that is done to their families, or their all medical expenses is beared by the organization itself. All this comes under the injury benefits, and these benefits are also sometimes mandatory by the law according to the Workmen Compensation Act 1923. When an employee get injured and he has any major or minor disability, so it is the responsibility of the organization that he should take care of that employee and compensate him on the behalf of that injury or loss to the particular employee or his family. Next come pay for the time not worked. Fringe benefits also gets benefits in the form of the pay that is received when you are not working in the organization. This can be done with the two types, on the job and off the job. On the job payment is done in the form of lunch break, tea break, rest break, and off the job, when you are not on your job, you are going for holidays, you are going for vacations, and you are taking travel leaves. All these comes under the pay for time not you worked. These are the various kind of fringe benefits that are given by the organization to his employees. Next come what are perquisites we call it. These in general we terms them the perk. Perk generally means the special benefits that are given to the senior company executives. Here these are the special kind of benefits that are given not to the common employees, but they are given to the senior person who are working for the organization for a long time. These are called the perks. Generally in perks we include furnished accommodation, we include the service of sweeper, gardener, we include insurance premium facilities, travel leave, travel concession, interest free loans, and use of computer and laptop that is given to the employees, and club membership for the recreation purpose. All these are the benefits that are given to the special executives who work for the well-beingness of the organization for long term. Next come what is the significance of fringe benefits. As these benefits play major role, they are beneficial for the both they are termed as two-tier beneficial system. Their benefits are for the employees and their benefits are for the organization. Both the benefits go side by side. For employees, these benefits are very useful as they help to constitute a substantial source of tax-free income for the workers. When we talk about the tax on their basic wage and salary, up to the certain amount they have to pay tax, but these are the additional benefits and supplementary benefits, so they don't come in the criteria of the tax. So this is a special rebate to the employees that is given by the organization to the employees. Next come, they are helpful to mitigate the work fatigue problem of the employees. As an employee spend 8, 9, 10 hours, and if he continue work, he will feel bored and fatigue also. So these kind of on the job breaks are very helpful for him to motivate, to recreate him. Lunch break, rest break, water break, tea break, so all these breaks are very helpful to reduce the work fatigue of the employees. Next come benefits like medical facilities, insurance facilities. These facilities create social security, give social security to the employees and their families. For organization, as we talk about, these benefits are beneficial for the employees as well as for the organization. For organization, these are the main source of attract and retain the best talent to the organization. They are helpful to create a positive and social responsive image. Corporate social responsibility of the company is reflected by these benefits. Next come, they are helpful to create a motivational environment that always motivate employees to work. When their performance is noticed, when they are provided enough facilities, they are provided rest, they are provided recreational services, they are provided maternity leaves, they are provided child care leaves. So all these are factors act as a motivational factor to the employees. Next come, what are the guidelines when we made the fringe benefits? What major factor we have to keep in mind? First thing is set out objective and strategy for the fringe benefits program. First we have to make a strategy and we have to set out the objective why we are constructing fringe benefits. The objective should be very clear in the mind. Next come, while forming these objectives, we have to include the employees and unions, involve employees and unions in the fringe benefits. After that come, communicate these benefits to the employee. They should be very well communicated to the employees. If we are providing them health insurance, if we are giving them life insurance, so the basic norms, basic terms should be very clear to the employees. How they can get the benefit of these insurance, it should be very clear communicated to the employees. After that, evaluate and control the fringe benefit program from time to time. After introducing the program of fringe benefits, from time to time they should be relooked, they should be rechecked whether they are working positively on the employees or whether we have to make some change as per the requirement. So these guidelines can be explained with the following points. When we design the structure of fringe benefits, we have to keep in mind following points along with their explanation. First, we have to set the objective why we are giving that fringe benefit to the employees. The objective should be very clear in the mind. The objective may be various. First objective may be to comply the legal requirements. It means that sometimes an organization has to keep pace with the legal rules and regulation. So as per their objective, they have to adopt some strategy. If we have to comply with the legal requirements, then we can go for the minimum benefit strategy. It means we are giving employees the minimum benefits. Next come, if our organization's main objective is to attract the talent, then the strategy will be comparable benefits as per the competitors. What the others were giving, we have to make a comparison of that, and then we have to introduce the fringe benefits to the employee. Next come, If we want to project an image of the company, we want to create a social responsible image of the company, then we can go for the pace setter strategy. So as per the different objective, as we have to choose the different strategy for the fringe benefits programs. After that, these programs are designed. Next step is involve employee and unions. When you are designing these programs, these are designed for the welfare of the employees. These are for the motivation of the employees. So whenever we are designing these benefits, we have to include the employee representative or union representative persons. We can include them with the help of opinion survey, we can make advisory committee, and we can also take their opinion while we are making the program for fringe benefits. Next come communicate benefits to the employees. From time to time, guidelines should be given to the employees. What benefits are given to them, it should be very clear to them. Whenever they required, when they feel they are in a need, they can achieve these and use these benefits, such as they can use the insurance plan, they can use the pension plans. So all the benefits regarding these should be very clear to the employees from time to time. Next, evaluate and control the program. Last but not least is from time to time evaluation of the program. The program should be evaluated from time to time. We have to check whether we are achieving the objective, whether the strategy is working on that objective, and if we have to make any change, then it should be introduced. Relook and rechecking should be done from periodic basis. For this purpose, cost and benefit analysis can be done. We have to make a comparison how much money is spent on the fringe benefits, and in return how much benefit is getting the organization in the form of best talent capturization, in the form of best talent retention, in the form of motivational workforce, in the form of good corporate image. So all these benefits should be evaluated from time to time. When we talk about the fringe benefit and compensation, side by side a term comes, that is executive compensation. First we have to understand the term what is executive. Executive means the person who are in the top management. Generally they are in the managerial positions. They include the general manager, they include the managing director, they include the chairman cum managing director. All the persons who are in the topmost position in an organization, they are included in the executive level. So this belt is somehow different from the employees. Employees comes under the normal workforce, and executives comes under the top level management. When we talk about their compensation structure and their benefits that are given to them, we should also make a focus on that particular point. The structure that is given to the executive includes bonus based on company's profit. They are, beside their basic, they are also given the bonus from the company's profit. Next come the commission as a percentage of profit. Sometimes they get commission over profits also. Next come they get the various kind of additional benefits, such as they have given the free car, they are given free laptop, they are given free housing, they are given free insurance, they are given free recreation services, and different kind of perks are also given to them. These are special kind of benefits that are given to the top executive level positions persons. Next come long term incentive also given to them in the form of stock options. They can purchase the stock of the companies, they can invest in the company's stocks. So all these comes under the compensation and structure and benefits that are given to the top level executives. There are certain factors that influence while we design the executive compensation structure. These include complex nature of job. As we know that the employees who comes under the top management, they have to perform the more responsibility, they have to do the more complex job. So nature of their job is complex, so they require higher payment in return of their work. Next come economic environment. The executive compensation structure and their benefit also influenced by the economic environment. As there is change in the economy, there is change in the liberalization, there is change in the globalization, there is change in the privatization, and there is a change in the overall environment in which an organization exists. It may be change of technical, it may be change of economic factor. So as the change comes in the economic environment, we require more talented persons. So while we are offering them different pay plans, while we are giving them pay package, we have to introduce some additional benefits so then they can become a part of our organization. Next come efficient performance. As we know that the executives comes under the top level management, they have to face the more challenges, they have to perform the more responsibilities. So as per their performance, they have to be paid more. The structure that is given to them should be as per the standards, as per the need of the hours, as per the economic environment change, as per their efficient performance. They should be paid highly for that. Organization capacity to pay. While we are designing the structure and while we are offering them various benefits, we have to see whether our organization is small organization, whether it is medium size organization, whether it is large size organization. As per the nature of the organization, as per the profitability of the organization, as per the industrial trends that are going on in the industry, this executive gets benefits and compensation as per the organization capacity to do. Next come laws and regulation. Finally, their structure is determined by the laws that are going on in the industry, that are different kinds of regulation that are put over their profits. If they are giving commission on the basis of profits, there are certain limits that are stated in the Companies Act. While designing their structure, we have to keep in mind the various laws or regulation and various acts and various recommendation of these acts. All these things should become side by side. So all these are the various kind of executive compensation and their fringe benefits plans. Basically, we can conclude that fringe benefits are a supplementary benefits that are given to the employees so that they can work efficiently and effectively. They are the benefit that ensure them their social security and psychological support, and they are beneficial for the organization as well as the employees. Thank you.